Well, I started my career 30 years ago as a television buyer in a full-service agency in London, armed with a calculator, a rate card, a fax machine and a telephone. And 30 years on, I've got responsibility for a communication group across Southeast Asia with a mobile phone, so one single device. So in some ways, that comparison summarises the change that I've seen over that period. And some very significant changes. I've seen the birth, if you like, separation and then birth of the media agencies. I was there for the very beginning of Mindshare in the late 1990s. I've seen the rise of the internet and the digitalisation of our business. And I've been very much involved in the globalisation of advertising and media, having worked internationally now for over 20 years. So I've seen that becoming very, very significant, interconnected, both from an agency and a client perspective. 4 years in China is like tens of years in other parts of the world because things move very, very fast. Hugely rapid pace of change in the Chinese market. What struck me when I first arrived in China was both the scale and penetration of mobile and social, the ubiquity of WeChat and Weibo. So that has had a very significant influence and impact on the development of that market, a digital native and millennials that live and breathe in the digital environment. And latterly in the last few years, and particularly in the last year or so, the very rapid rise of e-commerce and the significance of e-commerce to both our clients and our business, which has really transformed the market environment, and I think will be transforming the market environments around the region very, very fast now. Well, we have a significant portfolio of brands across each and every market in Asia Pacific and indeed across the world. And we have a number of consistent global brand propositions. So we have those in each market. Some of those are at various stages of development. I mean, to give you an example, the isobar business in China is a very scaled business of nearly 1,000 people operating across a spectrum of capabilities and services. That's still developing in other parts of the region, but we have a consistent set of brands. We also have, in some of those markets, a much broader portfolio. So as many as 20 market-facing brands in China, for example, and a similar number in Australia. So there are both similarities in consistency of brands, but also differences in the scale of that portfolio in different markets. Well, Dick, like me, joined the company at the start of the coming together of Dentsu Aegis. So we both managed businesses that had very substantial Dentsu and Aegis capabilities. So we've both been focused on integration over that period, and I think we've done that very successfully. Dentsu Aegis Network is still the largest acquisition of its kind in the business, and very complementary acquisition. And I think the coming together of those businesses has been a great success over the last few years. The other aspect that Dick, I think, has particularly focused on and been very successful in Southeast Asia is strengthening our creative capabilities through acquisition. We've done that very much in the Philippine market, also in Indonesia and other parts of the region. So we have very well developed, scaled, strong creative firepower in the portfolio. Well, over that 30 years, obviously one of the biggest changes has been the fragmentation of channels. When I started in the business, we were really focused on television, print, out-of-home radio, and now obviously we have a huge spectrum of channels touching consumers. So that's one very notable and clear change in that time. Also, I think media planning, strategic planning is very much now supported by a rich data and insight base, which now as a consequence of the explosion of data, means that we have a much richer understanding, detailed understanding of consumers, not just to the point of purchase, but also importantly about their lifetime relationship with the brand. Well, what we've seen, particularly in the last year or so, and I was very much at the centre of this in China, is the disruption coming from the digital economy. And I mentioned e-commerce as a key element of that disruption. So we as a business, as Dentsu Aegis Network, are looking to embrace that turbulence, that very rapid change, ensure that our businesses are equipped with all the requisite skills and capabilities to support our clients through that transformative process. So my focus now as CEO of Dentsu Aegis Network across Southeast Asia is to continue the work of building a portfolio of assets, of expertise that can provide our clients with that level of service and support. It's very much a feature of the Dentsu Aegis network. We have, as I mentioned, a range, a spectrum of capabilities. We want to be able to service and support our clients across all of those areas. So what we have, as you outlined, is a very strong creative capability here in the Philippines. We have a developing media capability with Dentsu X, Karat and Visium. We have a performance business in iProspect. We have ambitions to continue to grow and build those businesses. And I think very importantly now, in the digital economy and the disruption associated with that, we want to strengthen our areas of CRM, of commerce, so we can provide our clients with the appropriate service and support there. With Southeast Asian region is a priority region for us. It's a region, a set of markets that are in high growth opportunities. I think the Philippines could well exceed the growth of China this year in terms of GDP. So we're seeing Southeast Asia as an area where we want to continue to rapidly develop and grow our businesses. We work very closely with Tokyo. We're very connected because of our Japanese client relationships and the way that we're structured to the business in Japan. And we draw on the strengths and the capabilities of that business to help support our clients here.